for those companies who are not EUREKA companies, that they can know what other possibilities are there for them to join EUREKA and maybe start new EUREKA projects. So EUREKA is a public network supporting R&D performing businesses for the last 30 years. It is an intergovernmental organization for market-driven industrial R&D. We help companies like yours innovate and grow through international cooperation. This mission is actually achieved through a well-established intergovernmental network of more than 40 countries, as you can see on the photo. So the EUREKA is more than EU 28. It consists of 41 full members, that's the green, dark green color, 3 associated countries, South Korea, Canada, and South Africa, and 2 national information points. Everything else, what is in light blue, it means international cooperation with the third countries on project-by-project basis. And how do we do it? Teresa, please, next slide. So we have several instruments that will help you to bring your innovation to the market. EUREKA network projects, umbrellas, Eurostars, industry-led clusters, and from 2015, nnoVest. In over 30 years, we have mobilized more than 38 billion of euros in over 6,000 R&D and I projects. On average, that is around €1 billion a year. A closer look on the organizations involved shows that most projects are SMEs, followed by the large companies. As you can see, there is more than 11,000 of SMEs that participated in EUREKA projects. Teresa, please, next slide. So what we realized that after the project is finished, we don't offer them any kind of support to meet investors. So on one side, we have these more than 10,000 SMEs that we know, and some other SMEs that are willing to join us. So what is nnoVest all about is to bridging the gap between SMEs and investors. Recognizing that investment and business readiness of our companies seeking capital needs to be improved in order to foster more investment, in 2015, the EUREKA network offered a systematic approach and set up this new investment readiness program to address these challenges. The program is one of EUREKA's priorities this year under the Spanish EUREKA chairmanship and serves as a part of EUREKA's effort to develop new sources for funding innovation in Europe. We set up nnoVest in collaboration with Techtur, IBAN and EBN, and with support of the national authorities in Denmark, Finland, Germany, Norway, Portugal, Slovenia, South Korea, Spain, Sweden, and Switzerland. This is just a short introduction to EUREKA, what we do, and Teresa will now focus only on nnoVest, our last 5th instrument.
Okay, thank you, Anna. So Anna has already addressed a little bit why EUREKA has brought this program, but I would like also to give you a few words from our side. So why was the program created? And one of the aims that we want to bring with this project is actually enable the SME growth. There's a lot of discussion nowadays regarding scale-ups and the growth of the SMEs in Europe. So we want to support the SMEs in this growth process, and also to bring some success stories, and so to raise awareness about the companies all across Europe that are able to raise funding. So in this screen, I'm just sharing you 2 examples of 2 companies that have 3 companies actually that have participated in nnoVest in the first edition. And these companies have gone through all the process. So since the coaching academies, which I will further address later on, and then they went to all the matchmaking events that we offered in that year. So we had an Venture Forum event in Lausanne in Switzerland, another one in the Nordics in Copenhagen, and EVS in Germany. And the 3 of them all together were able to just these 3 to raise up an excess of 3.5 million euros. So this is why we do it. We want to bring you closer to investors. We want to support you in the process of raising funding and meeting active international investors. However, I mean, you might not be already ready to raise funding. You're just starting, initiating the first steps. And this is also why I want to share also these 2 statements of 2 companies, one from Spain, another one from Norway. And on the top we have Ignacio, and is now already in discussion with investors that he met at one of the Venture Forum events, but is also emphasizing the support that the program has given him in preparing them and to meet with the active investors. Pickle is also a company that has been participating. It's an EUREKA beneficiary from Norway, and they have participated in all the editions. They have registered already for this year edition. And most of all, they value the connections they make. So it's also a very good program to bring you in contact with international players, being them SMEs or investors. So all the coaching and the learnings they get, they find it beneficial, so they participate. So it's up to you how you want to take the most advantage of this program. I will explain all the activities, and then you can either participate in all of them or just cherry pick those that are most suited for your objectives. So who are we targeting in this program? As I mentioned in Anna in the very beginning, this is a program which targets to get the company's investment ready. So just to manage expectations, and so that you understand that the program has been tailored in order to prepare companies to be investment ready. So in principle, the SMEs are willing to raise private funding in the next 5 years. Either you already fundraising and you're already maybe ready, or so you will take the benefit of the program to meet active investors, or you're starting now and you want to start seeing how you better prepare, what are the options, and start to making connections. But this is all about raising private funding. So private funding from angels, from venture capital investors, from crowdfunding networks, so that you keep a focus on the type of offer that we are giving you. So it's very much be after the grants you receive. The grants allow you more to develop a little bit on the research. So this is what comes next once grants are not so much available anymore, or maybe you may have, or you need additional money other than the grants. So this is the aim of the program. The companies that can participate are all the EUREKA SMEs. So all the companies that have benefited from one of the programs that Anna Tomasek has mentioned at the beginning, so Eurostars or other supporting grants from EUREKA, and all SMEs from the countries that are contributing to this program. So just to mention them again, are all the Nordics, so Sweden, Finland, Denmark, and Norway, Portugal, Germany, Slovenia, Spain, South Korea, and Switzerland. So if you are from one of these countries, even though you're not an EUREKA, you can also participate. The program is free of charge, so you don't have to pay to participate. The only thing you will have to pay is to cover your own traveling expenses. So what are the challenges that we see the companies in this process of fundraising? So TechTour and also IBAN, we have been, of course, we work in this area for many years. So we have 15 years experience of dealing and supporting entrepreneurs in the process of raising funding. And so this program, we wanted to focus on the highest priorities. One of the things that it's quite common, it's the entrepreneurs' awareness about available investment sources that you have, and especially now when the funding mix is quite complex and the possibilities are quite immense. So what are the requirements for venture capital investment? How does crowdfunding work in different countries? What are the regulations? How can you benefit from crowdfunding and credit? The SME instrument is also a grant that is now available and very interesting for the SMEs. Business angels. So what is the right financing mix and funding mix options that you can have? And also, which ones are the most suited for your business? So depending on which sector you are, on which development stage you are, the different type of financing options, the most suited are different. And also, what are the implications? So what are the expectations from each type of investor? Entrepreneurs are not always aware. Okay, so I think someone is asking a question. Can we still opt for these programs? Thank you. Yes, Ima, you can, if you were rejected, if you're one of these countries, you can still participate. If you're not, you cannot. So the question from Ima was if you were rejected from a Eurostars application, if you can still participate. And the answer is yes, if you are from one of these countries that I've just mentioned. So as I was saying, so the awareness of the financing options from the entrepreneurs is not always there. So we wanted to support entrepreneurs on how to identify the best options and the financing mix, and just telling them and giving and raise the awareness about what are the expectations also from the side of the investors, depending if they are venture capital investors or angel investors or crowdfunding. The other thing we also see quite often is what we call the investability of the project, of the company. As mentioned, not always the criteria, investment criteria are present, for instance, for venture capital investors. The information and the evidence that the entrepreneurs opt to choose to share with the investors is not always there. And then, of course, scalability is an important issue when you're dealing with private investors, because there has to be an exit, so the business should be scalable. And lastly, and also very, very important, is the presentation. Even though there's a lot of coaching on presentation, we still see a lot of presentations that are not ready and suited for when they meet the active investors. And this can generate a very negative reaction from the investors, even though there might be a very good concept behind. So this is some of the challenges that we want to address in this program. And then, of course, we are aware that it's a hard task for you. Investors are very selective. They receive a lot of business opportunities. So of course you have to somehow stand out of the crowd and be the one they choose. The other thing also that we would like to cover in this program, and we acknowledge it's a challenge for many of you, is access to international investors, so cross-border investors. Quite often you have been able to raise some initial funding, some seed funding from your national or regional investors, but the challenge is to go when you want to grow and to find international or cross-border investors. You don't know how to meet them and how to get in contact with them. So matchmaking with specialized, what I mean with specialized are investors that are active in the sector where you are operating, being it in life sciences, in clean tech, in certain areas of the digital spectrum, fintech, insurtech, whatever. So you want to be sure that you will find the right investor that understands the market you're in and the dynamics of the sector you're in. So this is keeping in mind these challenges and what we want to bring with this program. So there are three parts of the program that we have focused and the activities. So the first one is to raise your knowledge about what are the financing options and those that can be most suitable for your business depending on the criteria, and how can you benefit from them. So what are the requirements? If you are a round A, round B, what are the requirements for different financing options? Then it's about working with you on a one-to-one basis and get investment ready. And this is where we work a little bit more on a one-to-one interaction and try to improve your business proposal and teach you to practice your pitch to investors, but also your sales pitch. So there's a lot of big emphasis in this program in the business development and sales. Because of course we understand that the most important thing for you is actually to sell, to increase your selling your revenues, your access to market. So this is also being addressed in this program and in the activities that we will be providing you. And finally, once you are investment ready and you can be of interest to investors, and to put you in contact with active investors and allow you to pitch to these investors. So these are the three main blocks of the program. This is the value that we want to bring to you. Basically, we will work with you throughout the year, very much with a hands-on approach, so to get you as ready as possible and to get you to stand out of the crowd and make yourself visible to the investors, but not just investors, also other SMEs and other players that are relevant for your business. So just to emphasize again the value proposition from this program to SMEs in particular, so it's about knowledge, providing you as much as possible all the knowledge that you require in the fundraising process and in the business development process, giving you the skills, the presentational skills to pitch to investors, on the sales, when you're doing a sales pitch, when you are doing a partnering speech. So providing you all the skills. Exposure, this program will work a lot on providing exposure to these companies, of course, primarily to the investor community, but not only. We will give you some through our social networks and through all the means we can to provide some additional exposure. Connections primarily again with investors, but also with other peers, other SMEs active in the same areas, which is of course a very valuable also tool for you for access to market, to other geographies. And finally, capital, if you succeed, or at least to get in contact with prospective investors. So what is the process? I will go through each of these steps in detail, but just to give you a general overview, we will start with webinars like this one, which will give you the knowledge. So we have prepared 5 webinars on different topics that cover these challenges that I've just shared with you. Then the second step is going to be the coaching academies. The coaching academies are on-site activities with you, with one-to-one interaction. The coaches are either investors or industry experts, and they will work with you. We have coaching academies targeting the business side, so business development and sales, and also coaching academies targeting the investment side. Then we will have a company selection. And why do we have to do some selection? Because we cannot take you all the applying companies to meet with investors. So we will have to select those companies that are most investment ready. And I will explain you how this will work. Then there is an additional one-to-one mentoring for those of you that want to have one-to-one mentoring, which is one-to-one interaction. That to give you still an additional opportunity to work on your business, to work on your pitch, to provide you some recommendations from very experienced mentors. And then step 5 and step 6 are the investment matchmaking activities. So typically venture forum events where you can apply to pitch to a group of investors. So what are the step 1 are the investment readiness webinars. Maybe you have seen already online that we have the 5 webinars. So 3 of them will be focused on the investment side, so addressing those challenges that I've initially mentioned. So about the sources of investment, what are the differences among them and how you can best benefit from them. Then the second, so this one is already on the 27th of February. You can apply online. All you have to do is to register how you did for this one. So we're going to use the same, the same tool, so Zoom platform. The second one is about planning the fundraising process. So you will receive some recommendations from 2 active investors. They are business angels, and how you can actually prepare your fundraising process. And this is a very important webinar for you, because you do need to take into consideration what are your objectives, what are your goals, what are the implications of going for some options in the fundraising process, how can they impact further on fundraising steps. And finally, the third one is on the communication. Communication on two levels. One on presenting, when you're pitching, how you talk to investors, and the other one on negotiation. So when you go to the term sheets negotiations and all of those issues that are, of course, quite often very complicated, and entrepreneurs are often not aware of the full spectrum of options and implications in those term sheets. So this will be also addressed in webinar 3. So you can already register, they're online. You just need to type your name and email. The other group of webinars, so there's one on building your investment ready business plan and value proposition, and the other one on sales and business development. Actually, this one, sales and business development, is already tomorrow. So if you want to participate, please do register right after this webinar. The other thing maybe that I would like to emphasize here on the sales is that if you register for this one on the sales, the coaches have had, I think they have a couple of questions, like five questions. So if you have time to fill it in and send it, it's a way for them to address the webinar, to fine-tune the webinar to your questions and to your challenges. So if you want to really take benefit, the most benefit of this webinar, do provide them these challenges that you have, or some of the topics you would like them to address, to make sure they will address tomorrow in the webinar. If for any reason you cannot participate in one of these webinars, we are recording them and we will then provide them online. So you can always watch them in a later moment in time, just by watching them on demand. Of course, it's not the same if you participate, and we encourage you to raise questions, to have an active participation in these webinars, because it's the way you can really have very experienced recommendations and insights from active investors. I will not now stop. Are you going to share the slides later to have all the event dates? Yes, I'm going to share this presentation. So right after this, it's also recorded. So we will provide the slides online, and we will also provide the recorded version. So you can have access to this, or if you want to recommend it to some of your colleagues that could not participate today, you can just invite them to go to the website, and it's going to be there. In any case, we provide all the information in the website. Of course, here it's easier to follow, but it's also, everything is available in the website. We will also publish in the website, you can have access to the short bios of the coaches and all the participants in the program. So we publish everything. We try to provide you as much information as possible. Any other questions now? If you can raise your hand if you have. No? Okay, so I'll continue. So this is, as I mentioned, the investment readiness webinars. It's about providing you the knowledge. And the next step are the coaching academies. Again, okay, I will. So there's a question actually from Nate Scorburn.
Yes. Hello.
Hello. Yes, I can hear you well.
So my question is, will there be, or is there already a list of investors you will be working with, so that we know in advance, how relevant those could be for our business?
Sure. We have already. We usually publish quite early on. That's right. We will probably publish during next week the investors, but it's quite early in the process, so the investment forum events are taking place in May and June, so we have a lot of confirmed investors later on, but we will publish. But I would recommend you to go often on the website to check, because we yeah, they keep on coming back to us and saying that they want to participate. But another way for you to have an idea about investors, so if you go to the website and you click on events, you have upcoming events and past events. You can see the investors that attended last year's edition. So we have all the forum events there that were from last year's edition, and the investors that did go there. You can expect the same level and the same kind of investors. Of course, maybe last year we did it in the Nordics, so of course maybe we have a higher participation of investors coming, of course, from Finland and Sweden and Denmark, which is only natural. So as we go to Spain, we probably will have more from Central and Southern Europe. Of course, the corporates always come, and some very active investors, corporate venture capital investors always come. Oops. Sorry. But it's a way for you to have an idea already. But as I mentioned, we will try to publish as soon as possible, but the list is updated maybe every week. Are there any other questions? Okay, so I'll just continue. So, oops, can't, okay. So, the coaching academy. So as I mentioned, just let me go back to the last slide again. So we have two sets of academies. One will be focused on the business side and the other three on the investment side. So the first one, I'll go through all of them. So it's a one-day event. We will have 6 to 8 coaches. We don't want to have too many companies in these coaching academies. Why? Because we want to have a high interaction. This is not a conference. It's a very hands-on academy. So we don't want to have too many companies. We want to have a good ratio between the coaches and the companies to allow for this one-to-one interaction. The business academy is going to be only one. And it's going to be in Lund at Ideon Park with very experienced coaches. It's going to be very much focused on the sales and on the business development, addressing both B2C and B2B. Eventually, they even will split, let's see who applies, but there might be some custom coaching for B2B businesses and for B2C businesses, because of course the issues are different. So let's see how they will structure depending on the registrations, on the type of companies that apply. So the sooner you register, if you're interested, the better, because it's the way for the organizers to bring the right coaches, the right investors there, and to structure and adapt the program the best possible way to match the companies that are participating. You can all go to the Business Academy. Then for the investment academies, you have 3 options. You can choose one of the 3 academies. One will be in Dresden, the other one in Lisbon, and the other one in Ljubljana. So the dates, you have them on the screen. It's also on the website. We are publishing also the short bios of the coaches, and everything is online. So for further information, I invite you to go to the website on the events, and then you just click on each of the academies to understand a little bit better what's the program and how it is structured. When we face a high demand for some of the academies, we have to do some selection. And how do we do this selection? When you register, you can fill in a profile. I will go into that a little bit further ahead, because it's very important. But if you can already provide some information, even if it's not total complete profile, please provide some information about your business, your sector, or give us some information about your business in order for us to first select you if you are closer to investment readiness or not, and also to adapt the academies to the type of participants. We don't want to be in a situation where we have a mix of very late stage with very early stage, or if we have this, we need to accommodate the differences. So the sooner you register, the more information you provide us, the better. Then it's of course on the first come first serve basis. So in case of equal good profiles, then we go for the first one that registered. So if you're really interested to attend the academies, don't leave it to the last minute. Register as soon as possible. Okay, so any questions now? Anyone would like to? So for those that have joined later, if you have any questions, you can raise your hand. No? Oh, oops, sorry. So what is the next step? And this is what we call the online qualification. This is a very important step because so far you can all participate, you can all attend, but then of course for the events, the matchmaking events out of capacity, and not just capacity, we want to bring good companies to the investors. That's why they come. That's why they want to join this program, because they like the quality. They have seen very interesting companies, and so we want to keep this, keep matching the expectations of the investors, and to provide a good event both for the entrepreneurs but also for the investors. So in April we will have this online qualification. And the way we do this, so the investors, which are published online, so someone earlier asked me about the investors, you will know we publish them. So until April, you can see all the list of investors that are going to evaluate the profiles. So the profiles are what you fill in when you register. You can fill in the information about the business and also upload any type of presentation. I would like to emphasize that the presentation should be a pitch deck for investors. So it has to have, you have to have in mind that it's a presentation for investors. If you want to raise money, so please state how much money you're raising. So all these type of issues that you should be in a presentation, in a pitch deck for investors. And then the company profile. I will give you a screenshot of what are the information required. But basically, we address the typical dimensions of any business plan. So what's the business scope, and you are evaluated on the business potential. The team, so what's the experience, the background, the product or the technology, IP associated with the technology, the competitive, so who are the competitive, who's your competition, how differentiating you are. And then there's also the investment and partnering interests, where the investors mention if this would be an interesting company to invest in or partner in. And then of course the project profile quality. On the bottom of your screen on the right side, you see a screenshot of the information on the review. So you will, all the companies that apply to the program will receive this feedback. This is confidential, and you have access to it through the platform, the registration platform. So once we finish the evaluations, you will receive a notification saying that you can access your online qualification. And you can see two things on this evaluation screen. You can see how you rate on each of these criteria. So it's I cannot see because I have this. So on the yellow bar, you can see how you scored. So it goes from 0 to 10. So you can see how you scored. And then you can see what's the average. So you can already have an idea on each of these criteria, how you rate compared to the average. And if you rate below the average, then you know you have to work on that specific dimension, either improve your profile or there's something in your company that's not really there. You also can see some comments. So the investors will write some comments, which can be very valuable for you. So you will receive, either you are selected in the top 30, which are the ones that continue to be invited to the events, or not. You can see why not and how you rate it. So this is very valuable information for yourself. Each company profile is evaluated at least by 3 investors. That's the minimum, but if we have more investors, depending on the ratio of investors and companies, the more investors we have, then we allow them to review more companies, but at least 3, and we take the average. So this is very, very important for you to be selected, and also to provide information to the investors. So of course they have access to your profiles and your presentations. So it's, if they are interested in your sector, they might get in contact with you directly. I want to put here this testimonial of one of the participants in one of, it was the first edition. And the thing about the profile, it's also that it's the information that then we provide to the investors in the documentation we give them in the event, at the events. And this is also when you want to schedule one-to-one meetings, when you want to talk with investors, they have looked into the information that you provided online, so in these profiles. And it's really important that you use this tool as much as possible. We know it's not easy. Sometimes you don't have the time, you don't put enough effort in filling in the information, but without it, you cannot really have the best matching with the investors and the chances of being selected. So I'm emphasizing this again. You can always change your profile anytime. You can always optimize it. In the coaching academies, the coaches will also give you some recommendations about what to put there. You cannot put a lot of information, of course, because there's a limit of words you can use. But also you can also upload any type of PDF files or PowerPoints, anything that you might want to add, you can always add. You will receive some recommendations. And I want to emphasize for you to profile your company the best possible way. So this is how the company profile looks like. This is a fake profile from a colleague. So of course, basic information about yourself, about your company. So there you have some tags, the activity, the geographic, some financials. If you want to share them, fine. If you don't want to disclose them, then don't. But keep in mind that also for investors, this is relevant, your previous rounds of investment. So what you are looking for, it's a very typical company profile for this type of thing. So what's describe the product, the market, the strategy, some achievements, some IP, some of the competitors. So fill in the information as much as possible, because this is what the evaluators will use to evaluate your company and eventually select it for the next steps. I want to stop now to see if there are any questions. No questions? Okay. So what follows? So for those that have been the top 30, sometimes we go up to 35 companies. For those that are ranking higher, are considered investment ready or almost investment ready, we will give you the option to have one-to-one mentoring. This one-to-one mentoring will be provided both by EBN, essentially by EBN. They have an extensive network across Europe, but also from EBAN. EBAN will focus more on the scale-ups for 5 companies, and EBN will address all the other companies. The companies that will receive this one-to-one mentoring are the ones from the countries that are financially contributing to the program. So you can only be entitled to one-to-one mentoring if you are from one of these countries. I will emphasize again these countries: Germany, Spain, Portugal, Switzerland, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark, South Korea, and Slovenia. You will have 4 to 8 hours mentoring. The coaches will be selected based on the company profile, so they will select the best coaches for your business in particular. The coaching will focus on the business side, so on the value proposition, customer segmentation, business model, so very much on the business things. which are very specific and harder to cover in a coaching academy. So this is another service that is provided. It's a one-to-one coaching, can be on site. So they will try to get coaches that are very close to you, because of course face-to-face meetings are always more interesting, but in with higher value attached, but if not possible, at least online. So this is what you will get from once the evaluation has taken place until the first investment forum. So they will try to do it until then. Maybe in some situations it might not be possible because of the agenda of the company and the agenda of the coach. So this will go in April until mid-May. So then what follows? So we have had all the coaching, all the preparation. So now it's time for you to meet with the investors. So the top 30 companies will be invited to attend the nnoVest Venture Forum. The nnoVest Venture Forum is the flagship event of nnoVest. So it's the event of the program. It's on the 19th, so the forum, the pitching sessions are on the 19th of May. The day before, on the May 18th, in the afternoon before, we provide what we call a dry run clinics. What is the dry run clinics? We will again work with the companies that are going to pitch on the following day. We have a few investors that work with us and still try to fine-tune your pitch for the following day. So this is a role play you can still do with the investors and the industry experts, and they will give you some final final advices and recommendations on how to still optimize your presentation. It's a very good exercise because you're pitching in front of your peers. You have a very good feedback always from the peers that are pitching on the following day. So if you are selected to the Venture Forum, I highly recommend you attend the dry run clinics, because usually, first of all, you relax a little bit for the following day because you've already tried the day before, and then you receive extremely valuable feedback from investors. We will have, as I mentioned, the top 30 companies presentation. So if any of the companies cannot attend the top 30, we go to the next one in line. So this is, we're gonna have the 3 streams, so the digital, life science, and clean tech. We usually have more than 30 international investors. As mentioned, you can see last year's editions. Being Barcelona, I anticipate it's a very nice city in May in particular. So of course, investors like also to travel to nice locations, especially to see good companies. So we are anticipating to have a very high level of participation from the investors. There are always 2 discussions, or 1 discussion and some plenary as well, on the topics associated in investment and scaling up. We are already publishing the program online, and as we confirm the investors, we put everything online. So I invite you to visit the website every now and then to see what's the situation of the event. You can always pre-arrange one-to-one meetings with the investors. So there will be networking moments and one-to-one meeting moments for you to have one-to-one interaction with some of the investors. Again, I emphasize the investors will only accept to meet you if they see that your company is interesting for them. Otherwise, they will not. So if you want to maximize the chances of having one-to-one meetings, do fill in the profile in the best possible way. And then, of course, we always award the company. So it's another way to give some credentials to the companies. So the companies, when they are pitching on site, the investors, so we always have a panel of investors, they will again evaluate the companies on the same criteria that we used online. And we, of course, provide you again this feedback. So it's more what feedback you receive, how you rate it on each dimension, and it's also the way we have to select the company. So we usually have the best company for each pitching session. Are there any questions? Okay, so just a few words about the pitching sessions. What's our format? So you can see on the right, we have always a panel of investors. It's a little bit like, you know, those TV programs. So you have a group of investors that will address you some questions. So you have, as an entrepreneur, 8 minutes to present. So you have to address all the key dimensions of a pitch to investors, so the market, the competition, how much money you're raising, about the company, so all those relevant things. And then it's followed by 7 minutes Q&A with the panel of investors. This is the Q&A is often, and I would say almost always, the most important and interesting part of the session. It's where the investors take the opportunity to dig in your business, and you have the opportunity also to address the details which you cannot possibly address in an 8 minutes presentation. Per session, we have 5 to 6 companies presenting, and so in each session, based on the evaluations of this panel of investors, we will select the best company presenting considered in this session. And again, we will also give you this feedback. Then we provide you this feedback through the platform so that you know how you rate it on each dimension. We will give you further pitching and forum opportunities for those that have selected, so the top 30. We will have more. I'm only putting now here online those that for sure will happen, which we always give every year, which is the Nordic Venture Forum, which is always in Copenhagen. The Nordic Venture Forum is exclusively for the Nordic countries. It's in November. The Clean Tech Summit is, of course, for clean tech companies. The European Venture Summit, there's a typo here. It's, of course, in December 2017. And it covers all sectors and all countries, and this all the companies that were awarded in the nnoVest Venture Forum have a direct place at EVS. Just a few words about EVS. EVS is one of the main events from Tech Tour, so the organization I come from. And for EVS, we only take the awarded companies from all the events we do across Europe. We do many events across Europe, and those that were considered the best from each event are the ones that are taken to Düsseldorf. This is why we always have a very high participation of investors, and it's a big event, so it's in a bigger scale. We usually have 50, 70 companies pitching. So the best companies from all across Europe come and pitch at this event in Düsseldorf. On top of it, I don't think Anna Tomasek is with us anymore. She had to leave. But on top of it, EUREKA is also providing the opportunity to 10 companies from EUREKA. So you have to be an EUREKA beneficiary to participate in some of the known festivals like Pioneer, Slush, and Web Summit. If you have any questions regarding this, you can actually benefit from these additional tickets to participate in these festivals, you can write to Anna Tomasek. I'll share her contact details in the end. Okay, so this is what I had to tell you about the program and how it works. Just a few words how to register. So you can go to this is a screenshot of the website, and here you can see you have the registration. Most of you, or I guess all of you, I would expect all of you have received an email invitation with the registration code. So this is the registration code you have to use when to register. So you go to registration, you either create a new account and register with your registration code. If you are already in our platform, so we are using Tech Tour Europe Unlimited platform, then you probably have a login, and you can log in, use the same registration code to participate at nnoVest, and then update your profile. For the webinars, it's the same process you did here. So they are all listed in the website and the webinars. You just need to click where it is here and put your name and email. You don't need anything else. So this is open to everyone. It's online. It's accessible to anyone. So if you want to recommend to some of your colleagues, you feel free to do so. Then for the academies, so when you click on events, you will see the upcoming events, past events. So in the upcoming events, you see the list of events, and if you click in one of the academies, it's the same layout. So you use the same registration code to register for the Business Academy. There's another question here, if I'm providing the slides of the webinar. Yes, I will put them online right after this webinar, so I'll put them online. I'm not sure in which, let me have a look here at registration. So we will probably put in the activities this presentation so you can download it. The slides that I'm using here, and also if you want to, as mentioned, to recommend this program to some of your colleagues, they can also see this presentation online because we're going to upload it as well. So this is about registration. There's one question here. So if I understand well, the academy and the forum gives you training and visibility, but raising funds depends on the one-to-one with investor. Is that right? I mean, yeah, let's see. We cannot guarantee that you're going to raise funding because, I mean, we are supporting you in the best way we can, working with you to have the best pitch, addressing the key issues on your business, putting you in contact with investors, trying to be the investors that are most suited for your business. But then you have to do your work. So you have to pitch, you have to try to have one-to-one interactions with the investors, both at one-to-one meetings, but also during the networking moments. So we are providing you the platform and work with you to get you ready, but then you have to do the rest. So of course, the negotiations with the investors, we don't interfere there. It's up to you. We don't do any consulting in that regard. So then it's up to you and the investors. So this is our work is exclusively up to that moment. Then you have to do it on your own. So just a few words. Are there any other questions? No? Okay, so let me just give you a few words about, so who are the investors? So this question was already raised. I'm from TechTour Europe Unlimited. So our organization, we work essentially with venture capital investors and corporate investors. This is a slide of International Venture Club, which is a club we supported. So it covers many of the investors, not all, but I just wanted to show you in a slide of the type of investors we work with. Of course, corporates are global. You will see here the main names of many of the active corporate investors. These are the companies you should expect to see in the events. Of course, when we do a sector-specific one, like the clean tech, you will see mostly the Evonik's, the BASFs, this type of companies, the Dows, the Bosch. But when we have cross-sector, you can see all of them. So we have corporates from all the relevant sectors in the digital, in the life sciences, and of course in the clean tech. Venture capital investors, we have most of the most active investors, Iris Capital, Early Bird in Germany, I don't know, ETF in UK, Sofinova, Sunstone. So you can see here many of the most active investors, venture capital investors. Of course, this is not, it doesn't cover all. I don't have all the logos here, but I just want to give you a snapshot of the typical investors you can expect to attend at the Venture Forum events. And then, of course, the big state funds, which are, of course, very important investors, like Vækstfonden in Denmark, or Caixa in Portugal. So these are, of course, very important players also. So these are the type of investors you can expect to see at the Venture Forum events. One of the other service suppliers in this program is EBAN. EBAN is, of course, representing a lot of national associations of business angels. They cover many countries, and they are bringing the angels. I did not mention there yet, but let me go back to the slide where you will have the pitching opportunities. So I've put here the ones on the Venture Forum events that Tech2r is organizing, which are mostly, we have angels, but the majority of participants will be venture capital investors and corporate investors. But on top of these Venture Forum events, EBAN will also offer the possibility to companies from the top 30 to attend to some of their venture events. Their events are, of course, very crowded with angels. So sometimes your business is best suited for angel investment, or it's not really interesting for corporate or venture capital investors, then you can still have the possibility to pitch at angel events. So we will publish these online as soon as possible. So in the next 2 weeks, most likely you can see also from the angel side what type of Venture Forum events you have available. So this is what I had to share with you. Again, you can just go to the website and register. The sooner you do it, the better, because also for us, we have more time to look into the companies and bring the right investors and the right coaches and the right people on board. I have here my contact. So I'm Teresa from Tech2r. You can see here my email. So if you have any questions, please don't be shy. You can always write me. And if you have any questions regarding EUREKA in particular, Anna Tomasz actually is the main person involved with this program from EUREKA. And you can also write to her or write to both of us. If you have any troubles in the registration, sometimes you have doubts, you can always also address an email to me, and one of my colleagues will get back to you and support you in the registration if you have any problems with the platform. Are there any questions? You can chat, put them on chat, or raise your hand, or maybe unmute yourself. We don't have many people, so you can also unmute yourself and raise any questions. Please take the opportunity while I'm here. It's always easier than typing an email. No questions? Okay, so if there are no questions, again, I will put this presentation, the slides, online. You can download it or forward them to someone. But if you have any questions, do feel free to write to us, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, so thank you all for attending this webinar. I hope to see you all in the program, and hopefully also in the matchmaking events. So have a nice day, and we stop here. Thank you.